Welcome to Pavinar's webinars for the pavement community. Today we'll briefly talk about network level macrotexture measurement as described in NCHRP Report 964. There were several project objectives in NCHRP 964, and that included to develop protocols for test methods, to develop equipment specifications, and to develop quality assurance practices. And these all revolved around the concept of macrotexture. And they looked at various parameters for characterizing macrotexture, as you can see on the right, including parameters such as mean texture depth, mean profile depth, root mean square, and the full list to the right. Macrotexture is important for pavements because it increases pavement friction. It can impact tire pavement noise. It can impact splashing and spraying, and it can also influence rolling resistance of vehicles on a pavement surface. Some of the major conclusions of this report was that most of the commercial macrotexture equipment evaluated resulted in both repeatable results and results that agreed with other macrotexture pieces of equipment. However, they found that if you use higher frequency laser sensors, these provided the most repeatable measurements. And also, if you have a roadway that has either longitudinal or transversal engineered macrotexture, you should be looking at line laser sensors at a 45-degree angle. And finally, they concluded that if you are going to be using macrotexture capturing equipment, you should use an engineered surface for reference measurements. And you can see here just a couple of examples of macrotexture equipment, including a walking device on the top and a vehicle-based device on the bottom. Finally, the last recommendation they provided was that they say that the parameters for macrotexture should account for the enveloped shape of the tire, as that correlates better with friction and noise. Another big part of this endeavor was looking at quality assurance, and they stated there are 3 minimum requirements for proper quality assurance, and that includes that you have both qualification and training records of equipment operators. You want to make sure that your equipment is accurate, repeatable, and properly calibrated, and you have records for all of the data collection that you're using. And you can see on the right-hand side some example reference plates that were recommended for calibration. So some sort of engineered texture that can be measured and checked for precision and accuracy. And they also recommend having a periodic and ongoing quality control program. And this includes items such as comparing historical data to current data being collected. And if you find locations where there is some sort of large change in the macrotexture, you should have additional checks in that location. So if you're interested in learning more, that was a very brief overview of NCHRP Report 964, but you can search for the full citation shown here and down below. And all of these reports from NCHRP are available online for free to download.